we invite you to say a few words.
I don't know what to say. Actually, I have a few things to say, so I'm going to set my watch for 55 minutes. That'll let me know when I got 5 minutes left to finish. First, I'd like to apologize to any of the members of Bishop Houck's family that are here tonight. There's no reason that our name should be on the same marquee as his. He was a great leader of our church. He was a great leader of our faith. I enjoyed knowing him very much. He confirmed both Michelle and myself at different times. And I really worried in the last few years whether or not he had a good sense of humor. And I recently learned that post-mortem he pulled a great joke on a friend of ours. And I'm glad to hear that because years ago when I worked downtown, I used to love to go to daily mass and hear Bishop Houck. And for those of you that did not know him, he had a voice that was both commanding and soothing at the same time. And he was a great preacher. He was a very good singer. And now that I know he's got a good sense of humor, I feel a whole lot better about it, and I'll explain that. We ended up in a flight to D.C. in the mid-'90s, going to D.C. for different reasons. And the flight from Jackson to Atlanta, I sat next to him, I said, Bishop, you really need to go talk to the Pope about allowing married priests. And by the end of the flight, he said, I really need to tell you that you're one of the reasons we don't need married priests. So we had dinner together in Atlanta, and then just happened to sit next to each other on the way to D.C. again, and I turned to him, I said, Bishop, you got a good sense of humor. He goes, and Bishop, you called me Tom. Bishop Houck called me Tom. He said, oh, Tommy, I got a great sense of humor. I love a good joke. And I said, okay. I said, well, the CEO of Choctaw Make Chicken's taking a tour of the back. And he gets lost, and he walks down this long hall, and lo and behold, he runs into the Pope. And he says, I got to take advantage of this opportunity. So he looks at him and says, Your Eminence, my company's prepared to pay you $1 billion if you'll change the Lord's Prayer to give us a stare daily chicken. The Pope's taken back a little bit and says, it's not my job to change the Lord's Prayer, my son. Absolutely not. He goes, would you consider $5 billion? He goes, no. So being the entrepreneur he is, he says, I got to give this one more crack. And he looks at him and says, Your Eminence, we're prepared to pay you $10 billion if you'll change the Lord's Prayer to give us a stare daily chicken. The Pope didn't say anything. He walks off. The next day he calls all the cardinals into a room. He says, boys, I got good news and bad news. Bad news is we've lost the Wonder Bread account. I expected your reaction, okay? This is what I get from Bishop Houck. And I said, see, Bishop, they lost the bread account, they get the chicken account. And he goes, oh, I understood the joke, Thomas. Only time he called me Thomas. I'm glad to know that he has a good sense of humor, and we were very blessed to have him as one of our leaders. Those that either myself, Michelle, or Mike badgered to be here tonight, thank you for coming. And I want to remind you that there are nuns in the room. This is not a roast. You need to be nice. Do not say anything that you're going to regret later on. But you're not here because of us. You're here to support Catholic Charities. And that means the world to Michelle and myself. And we love the fact that you're here for that reason. And we love you. Thank you for being here. And those of you that know me well know it's not easy for me to be serious. But just bear with me for a minute here. And the first thing I'm going to say is that I have one person to thank, and her name is Rose. And that's all I can say about that. I'll say this on behalf of Michelle and myself, and I'll start it off like this. We confess to Almighty God and to you, my brothers and sisters, that we have greatly sinned in our thoughts and in our words, and what we have done and what we have failed to do. I think all of you in this room, some of you, that's very familiar words. I think everybody can understand what I'm saying. If you need a poster child for man's sinful nature, you're not going to find any better than either one of us. And I'm sure there's some of you in this room that knew the things that we've done, the things that we've said, maybe the things that we haven't done. You'd probably confess never to be seen with us again. And we're okay with that. And that may sound strange to make those comments when you're accepting a recognition, but if you're going to recognize somebody, you might as well know exactly what they're about. So if you've seen anything that we've done that's right, that's good, it's not because of us, it's because of Christ. It's because of that simple request that says, use us to do something good. So if Christ can use the two of us to do something good, just think how much more he can do with you. So if you're looking for a place to do something good and do something right, I can't lead you to any better place than Catholic Charities. And I have to admit, when I first got involved with Catholic Charities, I had the wrong attitude. I actually had pity for our clients. And to have pity, you have to first elevate yourself above that other person. And if you're elevating yourself, that's just vanity. And over time, when I became to know the employees of Catholic Charities, when I became to know some of the clients, I didn't have pity, but it grew to love because I looked at them as my equals. And today, when I see an individual that's brought into the United States through the Unaccompanied Refugee Minor Program, which could be left on the streets in some city in Africa, never taught the value of human life, or could be brought to Mississippi to be raised in a family that will teach them the value that a Christian life can bring them and the value of what other people can bring them, and go on to contribute to society. I see that individual as my child. I don't see it as somebody else I pity. When I see a woman who's addicted to heroin and is about to give birth to a child that will also be addicted to heroin, brought into a program like Born Free, where we help educate that individual as to their own self-worth and the fact that they can give to other people and the fact that they have a responsibility to a child and help them realize what they can do with their own life and somebody else. I don't see a drug addict. I see my daughter, I see my sister. And I can go on and on about the different programs at Catholic Charities and the differences that we make in those individuals' lives, but I don't want to discount as well the employees that we have. It takes a special person day in and day out to deal with other people's problems. How many of you get up every day and go and deal with somebody who's in a real crisis? I don't know if I could do that. But I look at the employees of Catholic Charities and I realize these are wonderful people. They do great things in other people's lives. I used to work for a man named Cal Roche. He was a short black man about this tall with hair slightly longer than it should be. I'm sorry, Father Joe Dyer, if you're here, you kind of had your own name. But he was also head of strategy at IBM. It's a good gig if you can get it. And Cal and I would drink scotch and talk theology occasionally. And he told me one day, he says, Thomas, he says, I'm not looking to be the valedictorian of the graduating class of getting into heaven. I just want to get in the class. I just want to pass. And I thought the same thing. I thought, yeah, that's good. I like that, Cal. And I realized later on how wrong that was. And it was Father Tom Baller. And I told that story to him one day, kind of jovial. And y'all know me. I'm always trying to tell jokes and be funny. And he just kind of grinned, and maybe it was a grimace. And the next day he came to me and he said, Thomas, he says, you know I run marathons, or I used to. He says, I know I will never win a race, but I run every race to win it. And I felt so small. At that point I realized, I'm not giving everything to Christ at that point. He helped me realize we got to give our all. When I think of the employees of Catholic Charities, that's what I see. Not only the social workers, but the people in the finance department. Every year we have a deficit budget. Every single year we put together our programs and we don't have enough money to make it happen, and somehow Christ provides every year. When I look at what Michael Thomas and his staff have done here tonight, this guy worries himself to death about every little thing. And everything he does comes off of that hitch. And I said, Michael, I don't know if it's the Lebanese in both of us or the fact that we're both ADD. He said, we're both ADD. He said, I do this because I think about the domestic violence shelter. I think about the children that aren't getting what they need. And that's what drives me to do my best job. So any of you here tonight who have not been involved in Catholic Charities, either personally or financially, I invite you to look at our programs, to contribute, because I promise what you're doing is for the best good of other people. And the other thing that you have to realize is what we try to do for our clients is not only help get them out of their situation, but help them realize their own self-worth so that they can go help somebody else. Until you realize that you can help another person, you can't have enough self-value and self-esteem to really look at life the way it should be. And that's what we're called to do. It's not about what I'm getting out of this. It's about what we do for somebody else. And we try to do that as an organization, and we try to do that for our clients. So if you're looking for a place to do the work of Christ, please look to Catholic Charities. I know you can do great work here. Now, my wife and I are both CPAs, and you typically don't think about CPAs as being creative, but my wife is extremely creative. And she's come up with an idea, polite. Some of you may have already cheated. that will help you remember Catholic Charities and think about Catholic Charities from time to time. So honey, if you will please come up and talk about what you've put together. And by the way, our house has been a wreck for a week putting this together. So please take them home with you. And one last comment before I invite her to talk. If you try to leave early, me and Judy baby, we'll be at the front door. We're not going to leave until you dance at least one dance tonight. Okay? So be prepared to have a great time. But I want to turn it over to Michelle so she can tell you about a very special little reminder that she's put together so that you guys can remember Catholic